Well, what's ripening YouTube? I'm out here at the farm and I'm getting ready to make a little bit of an expansion here. And so I'm gonna get things laid out here, and I thought I would bring you along so you can kind of see what I do, and it might help you lay out your systems. You don't have to do it this way. Your lines don't have to be straight. They don't have to be parallel, but it's kind of nice when they are. So what I have here is tree lines that are spaced 20 feet apart. And I could easily just measure off the tree lines and kind of eyeball it and work my way this way. But there's a couple of issues with that because I want to do it. I like to do things pretty straight. So one issue is that I'm skipping I have a main path that I've developed here. So I'm skipping a certain distance to begin the new rows. And the other thing is that because the trees have grown in, I really can't line things up perfectly. So what I'm gonna do is basically what I started with originally was come up with a new baseline, which is the same baseline I used for this grove, and just extend it, square it out, and then set up my new bed rows so that I don't have any doubts about it. So in this case, my swale here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a little depression down this way. This is a north-south line. When I set up this grove, this is what I used for my baseline. I set a pole as far up that way as I could, all the way down as far as I could that way. Made that my baseline. Set my, I set 2 poles where I wanted to start and ran a string, and then I squared out. And if you've seen some of my other videos, I have one, it's probably several years old now, but when I set up this grove, you can see how I did that, squaring it out. And so that's what we're gonna do now. And let's get started. All right, so the first thing is gathering up my tools. This is kind of my consultation / fieldwork box. So whenever I go on consultations, I always bring, you know, a notebook, things to measure with, flagging. And usually there's extra random stuff in here, but let's get some of this stuff out of the way. So what I'm gonna need today is my string line. Don't need that. And then I think I can get by with just the 100-foot tape today because I'm not going super far. So if you've seen me do this before, I like to use these 5-foot pieces of conduit. You can buy them from pretty much any home improvement store. I believe this is the 1-inch size. Yeah, 1 inch. If you get them smaller than this, they're too flimsy and they won't last very long. These ones you can use over and over again. That's why you see there's rust on here, because I've used this many times. So it's an investment. These are like $5 a piece, and they've probably gone up in price recently, but this is something you can use over and over again. And they're 5 feet, so it's a standard width. I happen to know that my first tree line is 10 feet away from this center. So I'm just gonna double check it just off this tree. I'm putting the bottom of the stick against the trunk. There's my spot. Put it over here again. So that's 10 feet. Right there where I thought it was gonna be. And then from here, I can see the trunk of this tree and the trunk of that tree, so I'm gonna scooch over just a little bit. And that's my spot. Let me set that down. And then I just use my pole pounder. These are all tools that, if you're only doing this once, it's kind of a pain to have to buy them all, but I use them all the time. Now with the pole pounder, you're not holding it and jarring yourself. You're actually letting the weight do the hammering. So you just kind of throw it down. And that's it. What I'm gonna do now is walk down the swale and figure out where I think the center line is so I can set this string line. Because I've done this before, I'm gonna kind of combine tasks here. I'm gonna go ahead and set my string on this end, and I'm gonna walk with it with all my tools. You start to learn how to get more efficient with this stuff as you go. So I'm just walking out the string. I don't have to go super far with this. I just need to the line to be longer than how long my beds are going to be. That looks about right. And from here I can pretty easily eyeball my middle of my swale. This looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna go ahead and set that. That's that. Pull the string tight. So this string's pretty stretchy. I like to walk forward with it a little bit. Pull a big loop like this. I show this to people all the time. And then make 20 loops. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Pull it back. It's going to be nice and tight. This is a new string, so it shouldn't pop. And I'm going to go ahead and set it low because the grass has actually been cut, so it's not going to be in the way. All you do is pull the string back and it'll catch itself. And that's it. I have my baseline set now. So in this area, originally I was going to do a small patch here. I was just going to do, you know, a pretty intense pineapple patch here with some bananas in there. But I've decided to make some changes to that plan. And so I need a bigger area. So that tarp is only mildly useful now, but I'm sure I'll use it for something else eventually. I have my starting point already lined up with the last tree, and I'm going to continue my spacing into the next tree line, which is eventually going to be mango trees as well. But I'm going to skip one. So these mango trees down the row are 15 feet apart. You can see them, they go down that way. There's 10 in a row here. So all I'm going to do is take my tape. Let's see. Set it in that hole. Hopefully it'll stay. It's a lot easier when you have help. And I'm gonna let me grab another stake. And I'm gonna come out, 15 plus 15 is 30, right? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna set my, let me back up. I'm just gonna do the 15. Because actually I want my post to be out of my working area so I don't get in my own way. So let's just set it up at 15. That would be here. 15 is here. That's my spot. All right, so now that I have my baseline set, I have a corner point. And what I'm gonna do is, just like I did in my previous video, 3, 4, 5 triangle to get a 90-degree angle here. I'm gonna run a line that way so that I have all my beginning points for these new rows every 20 feet. So the first one will be 10, and then it'll be 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. And then I can come to the other side and run the exact same thing over there, and I can create parallel lines. So if you don't understand that, go watch my old video. I'm just gonna do a quick time lapse through this so you don't have to watch me for 3 hours working on this. I don't think it's gonna take that long, but you know what I mean. All right, so I've got my baseline and I'm just remeasuring And yes, I have trees here existing that I could just eyeball it with, but sometimes when you plant things in the hole, they shift, or if you had someone helping you, they might not put it exactly where it goes. And it doesn't take that much effort to go with the math. The math doesn't lie. Ooh, that's the end of my rope. All right, well, I just need one more there. Shoot. Start the tape over. This is why I use a long tape. The longer the better. I think my friend's still borrowing my 300 footer, so I'm stuck with this guy for now. That's all right. Get that out of there. So these flags are just temporary marks. I'm going to put the conduit pieces in, and I'm going to use them as endpoints to go that way with my lines. I'm making sure that I have them outside of my work area because I'm going to be in there with the tractor, and I don't want to knock out my survey because that's super annoying. All right, let's see. Maybe I can just triple reinforce this thing. Kind of cheat doing this real quick. I only have to pull it for 20 feet, so. 20 more feet would be right about there. I like to look down over the line. I always kick the flag out to the side so it doesn't interfere with the string, because you can pull yourself offline over time doing that. You always want the string to be free and clear. If there's tall grass or anything, you want it to be above that. And there's 40 for my windbreak line. So everything's set up the way I want it for this line. Just need to do the same thing on the other side so I have my endpoints. It's going to be 6 rows. I think I'm going to get the first 2 rows are going to have 3 trees, and there'll be 4 trees, and then this will be like 5 trees, so it's going to be kind of like a trapezoid there. And there's going to be mangoes. Long term will be mangoes. I'm actually going to direct seed mango seeds in here, and then I'm going to top work them with whatever I decide I want. Either extend my collection, or this year I might finally pick some winners out of my grove and just do more of the same trees. But in the meantime, I'm going to interplant with bananas like I did over here. I'm going to focus on the dwarf Namois, and then I'm going to be doing a series of other support species in here. Probably going to try to fit in a lot of pineapple, because that's another favorite element of mine. Just kind of using this little last area here. Next year I'm probably going to extend that way, and then the following year I'll probably hit that side over there. We just closed on this property over here, so I haven't even really finished evaluating and cleaning it up. So this is my mi casa, my house. We just bought that. So we got 5.5 more acres on top of the existing 7. It'll be a long time before I fill this place up, and I don't really want to fill it up. I don't think that's going to be my intention here. This isn't really a commercial grove. This is really a selection and demonstration site. The land's too expensive. Taxes are too high for it to be just ag. I'm going to have to do something else, either agritourism or build some cottages or something and try to make money on this place some other way. That's the problem with agriculture. The stuff you want, like the land you want, is so expensive now. It's getting bad. But anyway, that's it. I'm gonna keep going with this.